I don't.
What do you get when you put two Minnesotans and a guy from Wisconsin together? Twist. The Weekend Sports Talk. Get ready for some sports chatter where there's sure to be laughing, arguing, and maybe even crying. Now, here are your hosts, Mike Reeves, Matt Benz, and Greg Green Bay Bauman.
Here we are. Woo!
No, well, hold on. I'm running the show at the wedding.
Oh, fucking A. Oh, yeah. That's all he heard.
That's
all he hears.
It's all about Greg.
I'm starting to realize that, a lot of people always ask, am I a narcissist? And one of the first things you hear about when you talk about narcissism is if you have it, you won't ask about it because you don't care about it. But there is this other thing. It's called HPD, not HPV, HPD, and it's a personality disorder. And this comedian that I listen to, Bert Kreischer, Big Bert, he was asking, and Tom Segura's podcast is like reading off the things for this HPD, and it's like, do you make everything about yourself? Do you naturally take over the room even if the attention's not on you and make it about you? And he's just going down. He's like, yeah. There's a lot of people in our lives that are
HPD. It sounds like
HPD,
venereal disease.
Yeah, HPV.
Oh,
yeah, human papillomavirus.
Oh, good for you.
Very good.
Mikey was handing that shit out back in the day like it was going on style.
It's a venereal. I don't have a vagina.
No, it's still it goes both ways.
No, I got a clean bill of health.
You wouldn't notice it. Yeah. You would just be distributed again, like the dope man.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah. It's like goodie bags. Take it home with you. Yeah.
Episode 97.
Yeah.
For sale.
What are you selling?
Yep.
What are you selling?
I'm not selling anything. The old parents' house hits the market today.
That's right.
For sale.
Nice.
Mama's about to get her check.
Sure.
Fresh start.
Fresh start. Proud of her.
Oh, she's a head start. She's already ahead. She's ahead.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the other party is going to need a completely fresh start. Burnt everything.
Should have thought about that.
Burnt everything to the ground.
25 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I thought about doing a little drive-by to see the old for sale sign. I wonder, since he demanded 2 realtors, if there's 2 for sale signs.
Well, yeah,
I mean, you would think
he wants the most fees at the end. Yeah, he wants.
Well, he didn't want to. He wanted his own party, so nothing.
Oh, as he should.
No funny business.
Yeah.
The trouble is, his party likes my mom.
Well, anyone that's
better
of sane mind would understand HPD. All right. I mean, it's the real thing.
So HPD, when you were talking about it, you were referring to Greg, right?
Oh, yeah. No. Greg.
I don't make anything about myself.
No. I was thinking more Danny Reeves. That's
Mike
why
doesn't make anything about himself. The only thing on this show that's non-negotiable is that Mike sits in the middle right in front of the camera.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well,
I thought you were just going to put that. I figured with this other camera that we're incorporating, I figured you should just put that right here.
I thought about it. Just a solo camera.
Yeah. Because we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like I said, I could be off camera just with the mic. I could be running the ones and twos.
You should be T Money.
I could be. That's what I've already said.
Where you're just the voice.
Yeah.
But then if that were to happen,
yes,
I would then demand that we'd bring back the initials game, and me playing against Mike
be great.
Not fun.
Oh, we could play Yahtzee.
It's like me playing basketball against the 8th graders.
Well, see, that's another thing, Greg, is we always talk about you coaching, and I tell you all the time, if you want me to come embarrass these kids,
bring it.
Many people will say, oh, you're a hockey player. Dude, all my friends are basketball players. I would dominate them.
These kids need a
I'd be breaking ankles. I'd be jaying on them.
You should just show up to a practice.
That's what I told them.
Whistles.
3 on everyone.
Shorts.
Monday night,
high knee socks.
We got another one
Tuesday. Tuesday. You need to reschedule and say, listen here, guys. We're going to meet Tuesday this week instead of Monday.
Got a special guest coming in.
Yeah, we got the Harlem. Benz. We got the fucking Minneapolis Globetrotters coming into town. Yeah.
Let me check the old schedule. See when our practices are.
Yeah. Don't plan it on.
This is great podcast.
This has got to go. You got to be almost done with the season, Greg. We're at the end.
We are, and we are We have
We're the push them across the finish liners.
so we got practice on Monday. We got 2 games next week. Oh, we do have a Tuesday practice.
Do all these
Heck, we're in high
Mormons,
school.
do all these Mormons that are on these teams, do they fucking come in on horse and buggy or what's going on with these?
First of all, you're talking about the Amish on horse and buggy, and first of all, I don't know any Mormons.
Did you just say first of all twice?
You're dialed into the Mormons,
Yeah.
all right? Just because you don't know any now, you still got
Well,
numbers.
I know a
all
lot
right?
of Mormons.
Yeah.
Just none of them are on my team.
I didn't know.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. I
didn't know.
used to coach back in the day.
Yeah, Bobby
when-
Knight.
I used to coach a Mormon team of all Mormons, and they were the funnest group of kids to
I
coach
bet they were.
because there's those. I know that
Low
we don't like
maintenance.
we don't like the stereotype. Blah, blah. Mormons are the hardest working human beings on the planet.
Amen.
Over
Fairway
over
Foods.
Mexicans?
Fairway Foods, Mormons.
Well, not only that, but
closed Sundays.
But it's
Close
like
Sunday.
if you're in a position as an adult to hire people,
Yeah.
I would hire a Mormon in a second.
Mormons and
Any-
Mexicans. That's what they
Anyone
say.
that's done 18 months, 2 years of a mission,
Yeah.
has a work ethic.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we're bringing that back to America.
yeah.
Greg.
Nowadays
this
we
is
got
based on how hard you work.
A merit
Merit.
system. Merit system.
yeah.
Imagine
Nowadays
that.
you got kids sleeping till noon, playing video games till 10 o'clock at night, and staying up and wondering why they can't get a job.
That's if they're not using fentanyl on Lake Street. You know what I mean? Like those kids are up all night.
Well, you could be smoking weed and using fentanyl. They lace that shit with everything.
You'll be all right. Dude.
Well, I know I will be.
You'll be all right. Dude.
Unless they put it in
Couple
know,
pine trees.
dark
here
roast
and there,
black
dude.
coffee.
Watch out. Your
I'll be-
shit's tariffed right now. Your shit's one of the highest tariff things out there. Coffee. Yep.
I'll rub some dirt together, throw it through some water, and
What do you mean? You just brought a fucking $1,300 Frappa Lappa Dappa machine with fucking
$1,300.
17 attachments because you wanted espresso.
It's like
You
a
wanted
Ke- it's-
espresso.
it's
You're
like a
getting
Keurig.
hipster. You're getting more hipster day by
It's like
day.
a Keurig. You
Day by day.
You put in the pod and you press the button. It's not one of those ones that has the jolter. You don't have to add the milk. You don't have to do all the,
After this work, this is our work.
Yeah.
After work today, are
Yeah.
you headed down to Pickett?
No.
I mean, I'm wondering. You got
Oh my
the
God.
circular shape, the circular glasses on now.
Yeah. I don't know if you can tell in this 1080p. We'll see.
Oh, what do you mean?
Coming from
They
the
can-
guy who's got a pair of circular glasses
Yeah,
sitting in a fucking
well,
glass case
Hey,
at home.
I told you last week I'm a
I
trendsetter.
feel like you're
No
basically
big deal.
You're basically Northfield. You basically live in Northfield. You're
No,
just
I'm in the Lonsdale.
you're across 35 from
First and foremost, I
Dem
probably
Central.
shouldn't say where I live because this
Yeah.
stuff's starting to boom right now. Speaking of booming, business is booming here at Absolute Sports Cards and Savage. We're sponsored by them. No big deal.
Yep.
The other sponsor we got is Daily Defense.
Soon to be Diamond, hopefully. Diamond Daily, we'll call him.
Oh, yeah. Daily, keep it up. Keep up the hard work. We appreciate you.
Yep.
Greg,
Yeah.
got rid of the German.
She just took her to the airport the other day.
Departed.
The German invasion's over, and I'll tell you what, I was very apprehensive going into this
Yeah.
because Olivia is
A lot of variables.
a lot
of
of variables involved. Olivia, she was going to have a friend stay with her, or German that she's never met for 2 weeks.
Yep.
They got along famously.
Yep.
This girl had the greatest time
Yep.
ever. Even wrote a letter at the end thanking us, and telling Olivia that she was nervous too, and
Yeah.
that this was the greatest 2 weeks of her life. Can't wait for Olivia to go to Germany in
Yeah.
June. Everything was great. What I thought was funny was that a couple of things. First of all, before the last show, I told you guys she's never had Taco Bell before, never had a Dorito or Mountain Dew.
Yep.
Other things that I found out that she's never had before that she loved: peanut butter. She's never had corn dogs and tater tots. So they had them one night when they were like having a quick meal and then they were going to go somewhere. So Thursday morning, because I was picking them up around lunchtime to go to the airport, since they didn't go to school, obviously.
Yep.
That's what they had for breakfast, because that's what Sophie wanted her last meal in America to be: corn dogs and tater tots.
Did she go to school, though?
Yeah.
Okay. So the German tags along to school.
Yeah, and then they have their own. So most of the classes were more than welcoming to have a German exchange student
Yeah.
in, but there were some that just couldn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was like a room
Study
that was
hall.
always dedicated, because the Germans had to do work too. They had to do like a daily
Oh, I
diary.
suppose
Oh,
there was
yeah.
a bunch of them, so they just had a German room for
Yeah,
them.
there were 16 kids, 13 from Blaine and 3 from Andover.
Okay.
16.
Yeah, and then the school that they came from in Germany were all the same size. I mean, all from one school.
Yep.
And apparently that school is like a lot bigger than Blaine, and Blaine has like 3,200 kids.
No, it's private over there. I bet.
Well, I don't know what it is,
I
but
bet it's like an academy.
probably.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, but
sending them over to the big
Well, I know that
America first, dude. No big deal.
when we had the Super Bowl party, when we had our Super Bowl thing, we had them over, and we had another German girl over too.
Yeah.
And that was funny.
Did you ask any of the Germans? Did you say, "Hey, now that you've been here for a week or so, we are number one, huh?"
No,
You
I
should have, because
did-
most of the time they're gonna say yes.
I didn't say that. But I
Okay.
did spike the football in the end zone when when the game got out of hand. Connor looked at me and said, "Dad, the game's out of hand." And I said, "I haven't seen an ass whooping like this since World War II."
That's right.
And the Germans cracked up and thought that was funny
Yeah.
when my wife and ex-wife were immediately apologizing before I finished the sentence.
yeah, typical.
But it was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Fucking 2 wives under one roof, dude. You got to get rid of them, dude.
Oh,
Jesus.
That's trouble.
That's good. Mikey, you had a big V-Day. A big V-Day, and this is why it was big. Taylor and me
You
were
tell
at
me.
home. We were at home talking last night.
Okay.
Shed a little tear. And she goes, "Oh, did you see Mike? I think Chantel won Valentine's Day this year. She won
I told you.
with Mikey's gift." And I said, "What do you mean?" I said, he's on his way into the same boat as fucking Big Mike here, diabetic, pre-diabetic. And what'd she get him? After we went out to eat, she was talking about, "Oh yeah, Mike likes this, Mike likes that." It was literally everything that we talked about was in this arrangement of love, you know? And it's just
did you get the sweet tart gummies? The
Oh,
sours.
man. There's sours.
There's
There's
everything.
chocolate. I mean, it was.
How good is that?
Oh, it was great.
It is
I
great.
told her right away. I said, "You won." She goes, "It's not a competition." I said,
Everything.
"Everything is a
competition.
competition."
Yeah.
And you won.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know.
so I got it. So what Chantel got Mike was an arrangement of candy and
It's a
then
bouquet.
a bouquet of scratchers.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, did you win anything?
I haven't scratched them yet.
Why
Good for
not?
So
He's
I
the
got
type
home
that waits.
yesterday
Yeah.
and I cleaned it up.
Yeah.
Threw away the trash part.
Took
Put
the
all
snacks
put all
to
the
the couch.
candy. Threw them up.
Yeah.
No, I haven't touched the snacks either. That'll be today.
Okay.
Yep. Nice Saturday snacking.
I like that. Yeah.
And the scratchers are all in a like Target bag right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I would have if they were stacked up nicely, but
They're singles.
and she taped them individually to go around these shish kebab sticks.
Kebabs. Yeah. Skewers.
Yeah, skewers, a wooden skewer.
Yeah.
And so that they would look like a rose petal.
Of
you know, or a
course,
flower.
yeah.
So there's a lot of work. It's not just scratching.
That
I
was
gotta tape individually.
She
I
put
gotta
in some
flatten
fucking
Oh,
out.
time.
yeah, that a lot of effort.
Well, she texted me that night, Thursday night,
Sure.
while I was working and said, "Hey, when you get home, I already got your stuff, blah, blah, blah.
Mike's not that.
I've been working on your craft." And immediately I'm like, "A craft? Like, what did you paint me a picture?" Or I didn't understand what the craft meant until I got home. And I'm like, good God. Yeah, she did phenomenal. And she's not, you've met her, she's not over the top. I'm the romantic one out of the two.
Oh no, she's romantic. But I think
Well,
you're starting to see
proven.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, you're starting to see it because
Yes.
she's very reserved, but she's only reserved because you could tell she hasn't had it reciprocated.
Right.
And so now that she knows your dad, your sugar dad, now she's like, okay, all right,
Well, and
boom,
the other thing is too that I realized about her,
yeah,
she fucking pays attention to everything.
Yeah.
So she,
Yeah.
which candies to get, which this to get.
she's a girl.
I mean,
she's
okay.
a lady. Yeah,
So as a comparison,
Yeah.
like I went to Walmart to get a chicken Alfredo for dinner
for Becky, for
for
Valentine's.
dinner for the family last
No,
night.
I'm kidding.
And then I'm like, oh, I better get her a card. And then it's like on the way home, I'm like, well, I got to do this. So it's like,
Yeah,
I'll admit it, very little thought.
sure.
Chantel probably has been thinking about this for over a
Well,
month.
and then I got the flowers, and then her gift comes via the mail tomorrow.
Yep.
So I got the flowers. I get home, I'm cleaning up her mess, and then she's got her card, and I tell her in the wedding, I said, if you think for a second that I'm going first at the vows, you're wrong. Because-
Why?
Oh, because she's so since the day we started
'Cause
dating.
she's emotional.
No, her words to text and written are powerful. She's just way better at it than me.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do.
Oh, I get.
Okay, here's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
plan.
yeah. So I can't follow.
You're gonna both be a wreck. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Your vows don't matter because you're gonna be stumbling and hyperventilating and drooling. It's real. Go ahead,
Oh,
Greg.
I know it.
Here, the father will tell you what to do here.
Air Greg.
Mike,
Yeah.
do you not remember when you were standing between me and Becky, how I tried to put the ring on the wrong finger? I was so nervous.
Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna be too nervous. So, Mike, here's what we're gonna do. Chantel, look away for a second.
Oh no, don't ruin it.
Here's what we have. Here's what we're gonna have. We're gonna have two sets of vows for you,
Okay.
and then you just give me the wink out of one eye or the other,
Yep.
and I'll pull which one you want to use
Jesus
out.
The
and hand it to
easy
you.
and the tough.
Yeah, well, the one that like you're gonna start working on in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Versus the one that
I've
you do
already
the
my
day before.
brain's already been churning.
Yeah, so-
I do want to give a shout out to Maddie, Chantel's sister. She's a big viewer of the show, and she said, "Hey,
Maddie,
why don't you give me a shout out on the show?" And I said,
Mad Dog,
"Well, absolutely, I will."
Mad Dog, what up, though?
Big help at the move.
Big
Oh,
Mad Dog, dude.
yeah.
Mad
I mean,
Dog
she got
2020.
rolled up her sleeves, got dirty with the rest of us, organizing the bedroom.
Yeah, she did
was
great.
She was
She's a
team
good girl.
player.
She's a good girl.
Yeah.
Yep. So V-Day was a success. Anytime you have a beautiful pregnant fiance,
Oh, now
Who-
he's really lathering.
who-
It up. This is good.
yeah, lather it up,
glows.
glowing. But no, she texted me 2 days ago and wanted, what's my favorite food, fellas?
Your favorite food?
Yep,
Pizza.
Pizza.
pizza. And where
This
did
is
she,
another thing.
where did she want to go?
Godfathers. Oh,
Pizza Ranch.
Yeah, yeah. So earlier on Tuesday in the week, Mike got his first big full
Yeah,
utility
XL
bill,
Utility bill.
and
Woo!
it's damn near $100 more than my big house.
Yep.
So we went over there, weather stripped some doors, some windows, got them dialed in, and then we proceeded to go to Crooked Pint in Faribault, and to burn some time before Chantel got off because Mike knows me. I'm trying to just finish
Yeah.
it up. I got to get
Yep.
home. I got
it
to.
going.
I'm like,
I got
gotta
stuck.
stall.
I've been up since 1. So what does he do? He says we could play a game of Yahtzee
Okay.
to burn some time. Taylor looks at me like,
Absolutely.
"What is
not.
this? Are we
Never
stepping through a fucking door back into 1980?"
She's never played.
She
it.
goes, "I've never played," because she had.
Okay.
Bro, she's
Yeah.
born in 95.
Yeah. Which I
It's,
still think is funny.
it's wild,
Yeah, I
you
graduated
know.
from high
So
school
we
in
start
94.
playing. We play a game. She wins, of course. No, you did win. That
I
one.
did win.
Okay.
But
It was close.
She played well. She got a yacht.
Yep. She got yachts.
And she enjoyed herself. Which
Yep.
how can you?
It
not?
helped us burn some time. We did good.
We weren't
So
even done. Chantel walked in the door.
Nice.
So it worked
last
out
night.
perfect.
What do I order? A fucking big thick thing of Yahtzee cards
Nice.
because we already have dice.
Oh yeah, you can print them.
She's like, "Can we play that one versus one?" I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Oh yeah, we can."
And the ladies hit it off.
Oh, went out to eat. I mean, 2 peas in a joint, dude. You know what I mean? These 2 girls, 2 peas in a joint. You know?
Yeah. As
It's
soon as
just
we
great.
walked downstairs and Taylor's like, "Oh, I have that rug. It's this like hippie circular." I'm like,
Moon type sun
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
just wait till they can, she can puff that dragon.
Oh my god.
They'll
You'll
be-
never see him
They'll be
again.
in the black light room.
Yeah.
Just roasting.
I'll be moved in at Mike's. We'll fucking just
We might as well just swap.
yeah.
here.
We'll see you guys on the weekends. That's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep. Good stuff.
Super Bowl. Didn't
Yeah.
watch a second
Let's-
of it,
let's
boys.
Start there.
I didn't
literally
watch one second.
I was driving home because Matt canceled his party because
Yep.
they got the
Still sick.
they got the
Still fucking
sickness
sick.
that's probably traveling across America.
It's worthless.
And hopefully Air Greg told the German to bring Twist back to Germany. So hopefully we're there too.
yeah.
Oh, she saw the reels out. When we went to the Timberwolves game.
Yeah.
When we had some time to kill, showing her the reels and all this. And I think she thinks I'm a little more famous than I really
Oh
am.
yeah, play it. Play it
Yeah.
off.
No.
I'm on YouTube. I'm Air Greg.
She's gonna go back and
You're-
say Leo DiCaprio was
Yeah.
her fucking dad.
But I
dude.
said that right away. We're driving home and I'm like, man, Matt's lucky. He's been sleeping during this disaster.
Wow, isn't that great too? You
Yeah.
know, like I was up, I watched a little pregame, fell asleep at about 4:15, woke up at 12:45, and checked the box score and was just like, "Well, you." And then when you see the recap and you see the score at half, and then you see the score right after half, and before Kansas City even put any points up on the board, and it's just like, you,
Yeah.
just you.
Yeah, the score doesn't do justice for what the actual game was. And we talked about it on here that Philly dominated
every aspect
positional area
from the beginning on out.
You know, and that's why I said I'd bet Philly right. And as the game went, you know, I hate Philly, but I was rooting for them because I like Saquon, I like Hurts, I like AJ Brown,
You like
Devonta
individuals.
Smith. Yeah, I like all these guys, and I also am so sick and tired of the Chiefs that it was just so. It's like that kid that just talks too much in school that you want to see him get punched in the mouth.
Sure.
And then he just does.
Greggy, you guys had good times.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good time. It was one of those things like Mike was saying. It's like most people didn't, outside of obviously the markets.
Yeah.
Most people didn't care who won.
Yeah.
So in that case, you just want there to be a good game.
Yeah.
And it was literally one of the worst games ever.
That's the big thing is I usually have a hard time staying plugged in after fantasy football is done.
Mm-hmm.
I watch it, but it just doesn't hold as much weight for me. But then this year I really felt it because I didn't think that even though I felt like it was the two best teams going into it, I wouldn't agree with my take on that after seeing what happened in it.
Yeah.
You know, it was completely mismatched and good for Philly.
One thing I've been meaning to ask you, Greg.
Yeah.
It wasn't, we'll get to the halftime show.
Yep.
It wasn't just a bad game.
Bing, bang, boom.
It was probably the worst commercials I've ever seen.
Yes.
And in my opinion, a terrible halftime show.
Correct.
But years ago, we started doing and we talked about this last episode.
Yeah.
We started doing the games during the game to make the whole experience a little better.
Yep.
And I was sitting there watching these commercials thinking to myself, this would have been the worst year ever for these games, which you did play.
Yep.
So I was interested to see how that. I don't know if I would have gotten any. I don't know if I would have won any money other than getting lucky on like a Taco Bell commercial because the celebrities were so far out there.
Because there was a lot of old.
It wasn't every year that we've played it. Our celebrities,
Kevin Hart, The Rock,
Your people are hitting, and this year it was like. So I only saw 2 commercials throughout the whole that I actually enjoyed.
Correct. Yeah. The one I thought was funny was the one that people didn't catch right away, which was the one about USA football or NFL football. That the principal was Pat McAfee. Most people didn't realize that.
I saw the lead up to it. Yeah. But I knew it was him.
So anyway, back what we used to do at Matt's house is we had someone who was kind of doing the dictation.
The bookie.
You used to call out a name and a product, and you throw your buck in. What I do, because I'm dealing with high school kids, is everyone got to pick a product and everyone got to pick a celebrity. Yeah. And if that hits, you get to pick off the candy table.
Yep.
And I bought $35 worth of stuff at the Dollar Tree. And so the problem with it, and the other one I do is I come up with scenarios. And me and Connor came up with different scenarios for, will there be a 2-point conversion? Will there be a over 50-yard field goal? Some props.
Yeah.
So my point last year when we did it last year because Connor had games leading up and I wasn't going to come down by you. This year we did it because we had Germans in town, blah, blah, blah. So this is the second year.
Yep.
Last year, every one of our scenarios, the props hit. And most of the people, the commercials and the celebrities hit.
Yep.
This year, only 4 products hit, 3 celebrities, and like only 2 or 3 of the props.
Yep.
And the 150-yard field goal, I gave it to one of the Germans because I'm like, this will happen because they're playing indoors, blah blah blah. It took a penalty to get it to that because the 2 other attempts were 48-yard field goals.
Wow.
And I'm like, she's like, oh, there's a flag. I'm like, you're gonna like that.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah. So
what the
it was it just wasn't even an interesting game for the betting community.
Nope.
Nope. So
yeah, it was just terrible. And then the halftime show, it's funny to wake up the next day and you just all Facebook was opinions about
interesting, huh? So then you
show.
get the big controversy of this halftime show is that if you disagree and you thought that, and I'm like I told Mike before the show, Kendrick Lamar, I have followed Kendrick Lamar for 5 to 10 years. A lot of my workout songs that I like were his older songs, and he stepped away from rapping for a while, came back, and he's been a very big activist Okay, which means that he's coming out with certain songs to be edgy and to attack, mostly the woke narrative, unfortunately. Okay, but also he's had this big Drake beef, okay, which they've kind of facilitated because they both think that they're the best rappers
Well, and
alive.
for people that don't know about the Drake beef,
Yeah.
it's all on Kendrick.
Well,
if you
it's
break
a
it
lot.
down, Drake brought him up, brought him on tour, put him on his CD, gave him all this. Kendrick starts with a diss track, then another diss track.
It was a long time coming. 10 years ago, they had songs together. Then they went their own way.
Yeah, they're both Canadians.
Sure. No, Kendrick's from California.
Oh, I thought he was
Compton.
a Canadian. Okay.
But this is all that matters is it doesn't matter. You could tell that they should have went with maybe a Lil Wayne. Or what you're mostly seeing now is like the NFL wants a clean product. They want no guns on the field, no finger guns, no, taunting. They're protecting the players at all costs. You want it to be a family experience. So why do you continue when California had the Super Bowl? It was like Snoop and a bunch of other guys.
That was phenomenal.
To you, but what I'm saying
But
is,
it was a good performance. It was
that's
fun.
fine, but you go back to Prince, like we
Yeah.
talked about beforehand. The biggest halftime show before this one was Prince. Why was it so big? Well, it's because regardless of your stereotype or your religion or whatever, you can get through and that there's going to be 10 songs on this halftime show that you can follow, you can get excited about.
And you want someone, the thing is what I wish the NFL would understand is they should want someone whose music transcends or is above their own politics, because you don't want to make it political, which is why, it's like you don't. That's why I think that some of the best ones were the people like Bruno Mars or Prince back in the day, a long time ago. But I'm thinking like Black Eyed Peas when they did it, this would have been probably 8-9 years ago, is because their music is their music. They're not known for their politics.
Sure.
And they're not known for controversy. It's like, and then everyone, do you want Taylor Swift? No, because she's got herself involved in too many things politically. You want people who
and
aren't
she's already there.
What's that?
She's already there watching.
Well, my point is that you want to make it about something other than you want to make it about the music.
You
want
would
to make
think
it
so.
entertaining.
Yes, but I unfortunately think that this was hopefully the last year where they tried to remain political.
Yeah.
Last year even it was The Weeknd.
Yes.
Another,
When
Rihanna was terrible.
You know
She
what I'm
was
saying?
pregnant,
So it's
walking
like
high.
they are staying on that side, but we'll see.
Why
Why
was
wouldn't you go with like The Boss, like Bruce Springsteen, or any of these guys that are still have a residency somewhere?
Well, because that's what they did after the whole Justin Timberlake, Janet
Sure.
Jackson thing. They started going
The
it was like-
classics.
it was like, I mean, they seriously had on like, I don't know, it wasn't like
You
Paul
could do
McCartney,
like
Bon Jovi,
YouTube. You could do like U2. You could do Coldplay. There's Metallica.
Yeah.
There are so many ways that you could go and grab these bands before they're not touring anymore. The Stones.
Yeah.
Didn't they do the Stones?
The Stones have been on.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's interesting, man. And speaking of politics, and not just the halftime show, but a big thing was that they made a huge deal about Taylor Swift being booed.
Yeah.
And now I've listened to multiple podcasts this week about people that were at the game, and they said, the majority of the fans there were wearing green.
Yep.
And they had showed a Philly fan, and then they showed a Kansas City fan, and then they showed a Philly fan, and then they showed Taylor Swift. And it was like they were all getting booed by the opposite opposing fans. They just cut and printed that clip.
And that's the thing, is all three of us obviously on the right side of the political spectrum.
Yeah.
But we can also be honest. Everyone during the game was like, oh, they're booing Taylor Swift. And it's like, they're not booing her politics. They're booing her because she's a representative of
the
Kansas
Chiefs.
City.
Yes.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's like they were booing her because she was cheering for the other team. Let's not make everything political.
Right.
Everyone cheered Donald Trump because he got more than 75% of the vote when you take. Or
Right.
I didn't see him though.
What's that? They showed him right at the beginning when they were doing the national anthem and all that, when they were showing
So
people.
that was it.
Yeah, that was the only time they showed him.
See, and that's surprising. Number one, it's on Fox. I know it's sports, but Fox leans right.
And not as much the Fox channel.
Well,
but yes.
But
Fox
he's also still the only president who's ever been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't care he's still the president of the United States, regardless of where you.
It's gonna be at Daytona this
that you
weekend.
don't you don't flash him a little bit. I thought was a little
No,
surprising.
because he's controversial, man.
Yeah, which gets the ratings up.
It's funny that the first game that they play without end racism in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
Because racism is dead now.
Yep.
We've ended it.
Yeah.
And the
Thanks,
first game
NFL.
is Donald Trump attends.
Yeah.
It's interesting, man.
And then Kendrick calls him out.
Yeah, which is it's wild. But whatever, it's clicks. And look at, you had a whole week of people talking about a halftime show. That was shit.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
Yeah, too bad Prince died. That was, there was only one reason that performance was iconic and it'll stand the test of time.
Singing Purple Rain in the rain.
100%.
Yeah.
You can't, God was just like,
and I
made it rain for. I mean, that was just brilliant.
We're on episode 97, so I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before.
Yeah.
Sure you
But
have.
he was very much, they did a behind the scenes of that I've watched before, where they were worried about going into his dressing room and letting him know that the rain wasn't going to let up because they were afraid that he wasn't going to go out. And when they knocked on the door and said, it looks like it's going to keep raining, he said, and I quote, "Is there any way you can make it rain more?"
Right.
Because he wanted that
beautiful.
iconic move.
Yeah.
Moment.
I love it.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's great.
So
So now sports for us basically is on a hold except for college hoops.
And tonight, Maddie Benz.
And tonight.
I tell
This
you
is
what,
must see TV. So the nice thing about the NHL, which we don't talk a lot about on here, is that they decided to do an in-season tournament this year.
Yep.
And it's called the Four Nations Tournament.
Okay.
And
I haven't heard about it until you sent something.
It's so legit why they did this. And it's turning into quite the event because of the tariffs that are now being opposed via Canada and the United States. And tonight at 7 Central, we play Canada in Canada. And since the start of this tournament, every time the U.S. anthem has been played, it's gotten booed very loudly.
Is that why the U.S. was playing Finland on Thursday?
We were playing Finland, yeah. So these
that
are
was part-
only
that was part of
NHL
it.
players. These are only NHL
Yeah.
players that are a part of these four nations.
Okay.
And
And
right
who are the
now
four? So
we
it's
are
Canada, Finland.
USA, Finland, and Sweden.
Okay.
Right now we're fucking mopping, and them booing us. Tonight is about a lot more than hockey.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. That's
Where's-
the narrative.
So what happens with the players like from Russia, like my boy Capril?
He's on the bench. I
so-
think he's just getting some much
So they're
needed
they're
rest.
okay.
Yeah, because he's been in pretty roughed up. He hasn't came back yet.
Okay.
But are there reasons, to Greg's point, why there aren't other countries? Why you couldn't make
Yeah,
it the
'cause
6 or the 8? or
Predominantly,
it's those 4.
yeah, if you want to come up with competitive rosters, you want to make sure that you're not just letting Russia come in, even though they have enough, but a lot of their key stars are hurt. They'll probably branch out.
And you can't have 5.
Well,
you gotta,
because like when
Right.
they have the Ryder Cup and then they have the Presidents, so it's
Sure.
like one's USA versus Europe and one's USA versus everyone other than Europe.
Yes.
And
And this is just a very interesting in-season tournament that the NHL is coming up with,
I like
because it would be great with the NBA too.
yeah,
Instead of an all-star weekend, kill it.
Which, by the way, amazing timing. I'm sure. I don't want to say it was a coincidence, but
Yeah.
having that game on tonight during NBA All Star Weekend
Right.
is hilarious. But see, here's the thing I want to bring, because we don't talk about hockey a lot.
Yep.
no,
I give-
0% usually.
I've probably watched a total of one hockey game, and I've been living in Minnesota for 22 years.
Yep. And we went to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was a preseason game.
Yep.
So my point is, but the thing about hockey fans know their role. They understand that it's a niche sport.
It's like golf.
And but see, here's the difference. Hockey fans love trying to get someone like me
Sure.
to show more interest in the sport.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other side of the spectrum, WNBA,
Yeah.
they demand that I give them someone like me
Yeah.
gives them equal attention as I always give the NBA or the MLB or
Any of the
NFL.
Power Four. Yeah.
It's like you know what? No, you have to understand that this is up to
A different
person.
product.
It's a different product.
product.
You know, and that's what pisses me off. If it's like, I can watch what I want and don't make me feel guilty about it.
Right.
I mean, a guy I work with, he does a different job than I do, but I trained with him for one day. He
Yeah.
used to play minor league hockey.
Yep.
And he knows Mark Parrish really
Yep.
well. Went to high school with him.
Harry.
And so it's like, but every time I talk to him, he always just, hey, did you watch this? When you watch this, look for this.
Yeah.
You know, he's trying to educate me.
Sure.
He knows I'm never going to be a season ticket holder to the Wild.
Sure.
He just wants it. He just, you know what? If he can make one more fan,
Yep.
that's all they care about.
And the big thing is right now, pride in your country is making a resurgence.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of countries are trying to focus on their own country and build that pride back up because it's been shit.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, wherever you come from.
And here's the craziest thing. It's not wrong to have pride in where you live.
No, you absolutely should.
Yes.
You should want what's best.
Yes.
You know, even when Biden won, okay, I still felt like, well, I hope that I'm wrong.
And I still live in the best country in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
and that's the crazy part is a lot of people want to say we live in such wild times and this world's falling apart. And it's like, you don't understand that we still have it the best anyone's ever had it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing that they don't want you to focus on, especially right now. They don't want you to think that any of this change is going to be for the better.
Yeah.
You know, when it doesn't even matter. We just need change.
Yeah. We
Doesn't-
just need someone to rattle the cages.
You gotta.
And we got the right man for the job.
You got it. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of the things that are going on now too, with like exposing USAID and like all the corruption and all of the facets of government. It's like, well, the left says all the time, well, guess what? Republicans are going to get exposed. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what we fucking voted for.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just for
No.
the left to get fucking thrown in jail. Believe me.
The
Like,
swamp
that's
isn't
not it.
just the left.
No,
Yeah,
God
And that's the thing that people aren't realizing. It wasn't we elected a Republican versus a Democrat.
Right.
We elected someone who wants to expose the corruption.
Yep.
I mean, look at Donald Trump's cabinet. I mean, he's got a member of the most famous Democratic Party of all time.
I know.
And he's got Tulsi Gabbard.
Yep.
Elon Musk, has always
Was a Dem.
favored the Democratic Party.
Joe Rogan.
Rogan has always, favored the left.
Yep.
These people support him because they support the,
The agenda.
The vision, the
yeah.
agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another thing is like you see a lot of people that, Bernie Sanders,
Elizabeth
8 years ago, Bernie was running to be the Democratic nominee against Hillary.
Yep.
Or 12 years ago. And the Democratic Party turned their back on Bernie Sanders and basically, just propped up Hillary.
Yeah.
So what does Bernie do? He proves shows his real colors and shows exactly how bought and paid for he is,
Mhm.
and goes after all of these people that were Democratic nominees.
Yeah.
Whether it be Tulsi or whether it be RFK Jr.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, now we see, if anybody's speaking out, it would be like me hiring a private investigator, him telling me that, somebody is embezzling a bunch of money from me and me going after the private investigator.
Yeah.
And saying, I want you locked up.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that I don't, the reason why I brought the whole it's not Republicans versus Democrats
Yeah.
is because I just want to know from a sane-minded Democrat.
Yep.
Someone who just says, you know what, this party supports my beliefs, my agenda. Okay. Someone who's sane.
Yep.
I just want to ask them, how do you feel about finding out that all of these people, Republicans, Democrats, mainly Democrats, obviously,
Sure.
have been stealing money?
Yep.
I mean, my big thing is the one that I want to know why isn't talked about more is when we went through all of this political back and forth about how much money, if any, we were going to give to Ukraine. We give $177 billion. That's with a B.
Yep.
$1 billion to Ukraine. And the day Trump gets into office, they talk to Zelensky, and Zelensky goes on a microphone just like this and says, "We only got $70 billion."
Sure.
Where's that $107 billion?
Divvied up. Divvied up to the Dems.
Exactly.
Well,
It's
they're just
where
going to
is
audit it. And that's just how aid has always worked.
because it's like you and I were talking about before we got here. They call it aid because then you can't call it fraud. If it's called funding, it's fraud.
Yep, correct. Because if it's aid, it's just money.
Yeah.
And, for people to stand up on a microphone and even say that $1 million of misguided funds isn't a big deal. It's just $1 million.
One thing I think is funny is we never paid it. We being me and probably most people never pay attention to when ESPN does the Jimmy V Foundation, their day of
course,
and then they do one for Make-A-Wish and all this stuff. The Jimmy V Foundation openly advertises that 100% of your dollar goes for funding for research.
Yep.
Which means that they get all this. So, and I started digging more into this.
Sure.
There's a lot of athletes and a lot of people who sport this that their money will go to pay for the salaries of these people, and all of like the brick and mortar locations.
Sure.
So all of the money can go to funding for research and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
what I would like to hear is where are they with it?
Yeah.
How long's Jimmy V been dead?
Sure.
Mid-90s.
Or like where is the funding? Like what?
Well, yeah, it's going to research, 100%. Oh, okay.
Well,
how's the fucking research coming?
Sure.
Because we've been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah.
And you're telling me
it's true.
You want my money? Tell me how it's coming.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Trust me, having a wife who has terminal cancer.
Yep.
If I find out ever that information that could have led to a cure for cancer
100%
was out there, but it was kept from us because
Ivermectin.
Yeah. If I find it out, trust me.
Yeah.
There will be hell to pay, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But my point is that they are coming up with. I did hear somewhere that when Jimmy V said in his speech, it might not save my life, but it might save my children's life.
Sure.
His daughter contracted a form of breast cancer.
Sure.
That the cure for that was found in one of those labs.
Yeah.
So he was literally being prophetic.
Yep.
But my point is that if I find that out, that
there are already medications that work to diminish and prolong lives with people that have cancer. Unfortunately, there's no money in that.
No,
these
and
are
that's
generic.
Big Pharma wants to stop it all, and I shared it to our topics. I pulled it up. Arkansas is trying to pass a bill that makes ivermectin available without a prescription.
Right.
Yeah.
Because right now there are only certain places that you can buy the paste, and even people are taking the paste. It's interesting, man. It's all fucked. And what other people say is like people are starting to realize that what you think reality is not what's going on.
We've known that. You just don't want to see.
Yeah, you're in denial about it. You don't want to see
who Oz
it's a kid that's up to no good, and you just want to believe that they're up to good. You just close it out.
Trump's not the only one making waves and trying to make changes.
Who else?
Who else is?
Let's hear it.
Representative of the House, Drew Roach.
Drew Roach.
Yeah.
Twist Zone representative. He's out there. He's on the news.
Man, to be what's
he's
he
like co-signing bills and shit.
A month in, so the never, what is it? The never again, never whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that bill's been floated around before, but it's never gone this far.
Sure.
And I was talking to him yesterday. The fact, what's he been in, a month?
Yep.
And we've already seen him. Greggy saw him on the news. I told him that he didn't even know. And
you got to wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
He's pissing people off already.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
He wanted to get on the election committee.
Sure.
Number one, they wanted him on the ethical committee. He's like, this is what I ran on.
Yeah.
Electoral votes, all this stuff. And he's like, this is what I want. And he also wanted to be on this bill and to push it forward. Well, Drew's brand new. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
That's not how things work. So they're voting for the Speaker of the House.
Yep.
Who's a Republican.
Yep.
And Drew said, I'm not going to vote for her.
Sure.
And he used that all the way to the very end, the day of the vote, to get himself on the election committee.
Yep.
And to get his name on this bill. And he's probably pissing people off.
Well, he is.
But
they're in a blue state. Yeah, he's pissed people off.
Well, but the thing is these were the Republicans. He's a Republican. You want to vote for the Republican Speaker of the House? They're like,
Sure.
what do you mean you're not going to vote for her? He goes, I never said I wasn't going to vote for her.
Yeah.
I said, I just won't vote.
Right. Yeah.
But that's the thing. And the guy told him, he's like, well, this isn't the way to go about things. He goes, well, this is the way I'm doing it.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm standing up for my constituents. He goes, I ran on this. I don't want to be on the ethical committee.
Right.
And they backstabbed him on another bill. It was just we talked for like an hour and 15 minutes, basically. My whole ride home while I'm watching semis go in the median.
Yeah.
And he's just getting fired up about it. And I asked him because Pat Garofalo had his seat for about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and he's in a red city. And I said, so what are the chances that
you get bumped?
Well, that could be you, that you coast for 20 years.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I could. He goes, but if I really piss them off enough, they're going to spend a lot of money
to go against them.
To have somebody
else in that
to have somebody go against them. But he's doing good things where he can go back to his city and say, look what I'm trying to do.
Yep.
He wrote a letter to the Minneapolis or Minnesota high school sports, calling them out for their decision, to continue to allow, transgenders to play, in sports.
Yep.
And so he wrote them a huge letter going against them on that, making waves, trying to do, the little guy trying to make big waves. And it's the fact that this never again bill, it basically goes against Walz.
It just goes against the governor having
so much power
to lockdown.
Yes.
Yeah,
and he had a great gal that was a restaurant business owner who I personally know.
Yep.
She stood up in front of him at the hearing and talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't even try to say what she says because she says it so majestically like a unicorn. They did. She got screwed.
Yep.
He abused his powers and made a statement with her.
This was all in reference to when Walz at COVID shut restaurants down and all this and didn't give two shits about the business owners that needed that income. Didn't give a shit about your friend.
But opened up department stores for Black Friday.
Yeah.
And other things when there was no scientific evidence pointing, hey, restaurants are bad and department stores are bigger.
Yeah, he just fucked himself.
It was all a scam anyway.
Yeah, he fucked himself because, like a lot of people did during COVID, they locked everything down. And then, unfortunately, George Floyd died and there became to be riots and protesting. And guess what? There was no mask mandates for that. There was no, guidelines or restrictions. But Thanksgiving that year, it was that provided that people don't get together with their family.
They basically said you can burn the city and so you can heal.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Which is funny because the only time I had COVID was that Thanksgiving, and we were shut down.
Good.
Yeah. So
it's wild.
COVID was real for sure.
Yeah.
Didn't need to shut everything
the
down
year that there was no flu numbers. Yes, it was wild.
Well, it was amazing that that we get COVID.
Yeah.
And then coincidentally, of course, I don't think anyone's up to any shadiness.
Yeah.
They allow mail-in voting where they have Democratic representatives showing up at people's houses with ballots, literally asking them, who would you vote for?
Right.
And then if you say the right person, they will hand you a ballot filled out already. What do we got going on?
Yeah, that a boy Austin, that a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He's confused.
Okay, yeah, okay,
yeah.
I forgot there might be.
And then we're a live interactive show here at Twist.
And then, of course, after that, they allow mail-in voting and anyone that can get a ballot. And then all of a sudden, 13 million people show up to vote for Biden that didn't exist 4 years before and didn't exist 4 years after.
And if you brought it back even further than 4 years.
Yeah, like Obama wasn't even getting those numbers. And Obama's supposed to be the savior of the Democratic Party.
Flatline. It was all basically the same numbers, ebb and flow, maybe a little bit. And then this huge spike of, you said, where are these people?
Yeah, if you don't see that as corruption, I'm sorry, but I'll sell you. It's like I'll sell you lakefront property in the desert.
You know who didn't get away with corruption?
Glenn Taylor.
Glenn Taylor.
He lost, and I love it. Let's go, A-Rod, baby.
Well, Mark Lohr. Yep. Party. Yep.
Mark Lohr.
They're now majority stakeholders.
Yes.
That's beautiful. We can now put 21 in the Raptors this year.
I can't wait. I might go
this year. Well,
so anyway, what we're talking about is there's been some controversy since Glenn Taylor, who used to own the Timberwolves, now technically I guess still does.
He still does. It's not.
But he was selling to a group of investors Laurie,
Yep.
A-Rod,
Yep.
Bloomberg,
Yep.
all these guys. They made 2 of the payments, and then when the third one was due, Glenn Taylor's like, whoa, you were late on this. But let's be honest, the timing of it was a little unfortunate because at this time,
Yep.
the Timberwolves are having their greatest season in 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was buyer's or seller's remorse.
Yeah.
100.
The value of the team went up billions of dollars last season.
Yes.
And that's what happened.
And
Yep.
he,
And
didn't
he
wanna-
tried to pull back, and guess what? He knew he could kick the can, and he did. And he's old. He's about to fall
He's
out
too busy
anyway.
killing chickens.
Yeah,
Well, and he's
his-
one of the last.
family-
He's one of the last of the old regime.
Yeah.
There's not too many owners out there that bought the franchise for $90 million.
Yeah.
40 years ago,
Yeah.
and it's just not like that anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, he did try to kick the can. The
Didn't
can
work.
The can got crushed. The arbitration read right through it,
Yeah.
and
It's a
I'm
beautiful
excited for the franchise moving forward in a different direction. I know some fans are scared that, oh well, they're gonna move it because Seattle, the NBA wants Seattle and Las Vegas to have teams.
It's too
Well,
good.
the trouble is Minnesota, they don't want to remove teams. We're the 8th biggest market.
That's what I'm saying. They
So
don't
we're-
want to remove a market that still sells tickets.
Yeah, you're a
and
thriving.
still-
We have sellout games.
Right.
Even Dallas, those owners are from Vegas.
and that's the thing is a lot of people are saying they did the Luka move
Yeah.
because they're trying to get fans to stop coming and to basically intentionally tank.
But Dallas is
So that
again
they can
another
move the
huge,
team.
huge market.
But they have already San Antonio, you know what I mean, for the state, so they can get away.
San Antonio and Dallas are so far apart.
No,
you
I
take a
know.
plane to get from one to the
Well,
other.
yeah, because it's Texas. But I'm saying,
No, I understand what you're saying. The thing is that you got to remember when it comes to Minnesota is the sports team, not hockey, because there's just a lot, there's a lot of Canadian teams.
Yeah.
You need a team in that area because you need people from Iowa, the Dakotas, all that to support a team.
Yeah.
Just from a merchandise standpoint, you need a team to put on the shelf of the jersey to put on the shelves at Kohl's.
yeah,
And all those other stores. So they're never going to move a team out of this market.
especially when 3 of the states that border us don't have a team.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
no, I'm not.
And
I'm
we're
not
a
worried.
hub for an airport.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I'm not worried about it at all.
No.
and I don't think the NBA should allow it. You can easily just add 2 more teams without
Sure.
removing the other ones.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, you start looking at it, there's other teams that don't deserve the team they have based on, what's coming through the door. I
Yeah.
mean, when was the last
The
time you heard
product.
anything about Charlotte?
Right.
Yep.
Well, I just did because their trade got rescinded. but-
Yeah. So there's teams like that you would rather move. But then at that time, you don't want to move a team from that region to the exact opposite side because then, what happens to the fan allegiance,
Right.
and all that.
See, and I don't like to see teams. Charlotte Hornets, man, Larry Johnson,
That was one of the coolest jerseys.
Muggsy Bogues,
Starter jacket. Yeah.
Oh man, I had a
Great.
Charlotte Hornets. I got a picture. I think it's on my phone where I'm in
Quarter zip.
a Jordan jumpsuit with some J's on, and next to it is a Charlotte Hornets backpack. I mean, just
You're fucking-
flossing,
Yeah.
bro.
Since-
just
since
skipping
back in the day
Skipping into school, just
for first period and then leaving this.
But
game.
yeah, the Sonics should have never got rid of him.
Nope.
I mean, the OKC Thunder, like they got a squad. I like them, but I hate the team.
sure.
I hate them.
You're kind of picky when it comes down to certain things.
branding.
Yeah. Yeah. Numbers.
The Thunder. Yeah, the
Weird
double
shit.
zero in
Yeah,
the NBA. I think
weird
it's
shit.
blasphemous.
That's it.
Is it a number, Greg? 0-0 on its own. Is it a number?
No. Well, I mean, what do you, in what context can you put on a jersey? Of course.
Yeah. So, but
This is where he gets them. He's firmly
all right.
believes.
So
that,
let's start at 0, right?
Yep.
Let's go up.
Yep.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Let's go down. 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5.
So you should be able to
Where
do
does-
0-1.
Where does double
You
zero
should.
exist?
You should be able
No,
to do
that's,
0-1.
that's redundant. Using 0-1 is redundant.
I know, but so is 0-0. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
That's why you could just do 0. But a double 0 implies that you should be able to use 0 and then another number for single digits.
Well,
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting approach that you don't
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah.
but it just drives me nuts
But-
that
But are you saying, Mike, that you're saying like it should be -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Okay.
He says
Okay.
it should just be one.
That's what it is, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't go 0, 0, 0, -1.
Right.
0,
Right,
0
correct,
doesn't
yeah.
exist unless it's after a
I get what you're
number.
saying.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
So if you want to give somebody 100, you can be 100, 101, 102, 200. If you want to go 3-digit jersey numbers, I think it'd be ridiculous, but at least it's a real number. 0, 0 doesn't exist.
This is
Well,
Mike's,
fake.
Mike's autism is coming
Well,
out. He's
well,
good.
Fake.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, since we're just talking about basketball, there's a reason why you can only have certain numbers. You have to pay for a different number. Like if you have any digit that's over a 5, you have to pay the league for that, because when a referee calls a foul, they have to do it with 2 hands, and each
So
hand
Oh,
represents a
over a
number.
9.
So no,
Over
on-
5. If it's over one
Oh.
So
hand,
when you see guys with number
Didn't know that.
77
No.
or whatever, they have to pay extra for that.
Yeah.
Which is why the number 0-0 is in basketball, because you can still do this. It has nothing to do with
Oh.
placeholders. It has to do with referees and how they report to the bench.
this is why we got you. This is it. You just shine right there. This is gonna be a great clip.
Fuck the first.
It's gonna be
the
a
first-
great clip, Greg.
The first person to have a number that wasn't above a 5, that had like a 6, 7, 8, 9 in it, and I forgot who it was. It was either Manute Bull, Sean Bradley
In basketball. Okay.
in basketball.
Yeah.
One of those guys
Yeah.
wanted the jersey number of their height, so it was like 7'6" or 7'7". So they petitioned the league,
What
and
a
the league
Looney
said,
Tune,
"Okay,
huh?
from now on, we'll do that,
Yeah.
but you have to pay extra." So when Dennis Rodman got number 91,
Yeah.
because he needed a number that was 10, and he couldn't get the number 10, he wanted 2 digits that added up to 10, and he was trying to be difficult.
I also didn't know that.
Yeah,
He wanted to be 10, so he did
What a
addition
wild
on it.
child that guy, huh?
yeah,
Zebra hair.
yeah. So yeah, that's why you have jersey digits that are not above a 5.
Married in a dress.
Yeah, married himself.
To Carmen Electra.
Well, he
Oh, I
he
loved
married
her.
himself, didn't he?
I don't know.
Did
I'm
he?
sure.
The
Wild.
artist formerly known as D-Rod.
A lot of stuff going on.
Go through the list.
Ooh.
Well, I want to break down the free agency real quick.
Okay.
So we mentioned Luka, biggest trade. We're a week out past that, but
Yep.
it doesn't matter. I've never seen a trade like that.
It's very nice that AD got hurt right away, because it really separates the people that are like, it's not as lopsided as you think. You know, not that there were many of those people, but a lot of the people that were trying to stand up for the front office of Dallas, like, no, it's AD. Stop shitting on AD's name. And it's like,
then he gets
and
hurt.
then he pulls a quad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
It is AD. He's a superstar.
yeah, but he
He's 6 years older. He's not Luka, who's maybe the face.
and what the
or
Lakers
one
are
of the
saying.
faces.
Yeah, what the Lakers are saying is that LeBron always wanted somebody that he could hand the baton to, and AD didn't want the baton because AD's
True.
not a 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you get a guy like Luka who didn't look very overweight when he showed up.
No.
You
No,
know what
it
I
was
mean?
an excuse.
It was a
did-
James Harden type situation.
They didn't
where he
wanna-
was heavy.
Yeah.
And it takes a week of not eating, and you drop 20
it's
pounds
just
of blow.
funny how much they blow it up, because how often do you hear them criticize the Joker,
Sure.
who just looks like a drunken
Yeah.
sailor? Like he's never been in
But-
shape, and he's
But he
one of the
always
best.
plays.
Yeah,
That's the thing. You know,
but
these
Luka,
guys-
it's not like he's just this overly
not Paul George.
injury prone. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not.
I
I
mean-
mean, he shows up. He crushed us.
Yeah.
The Wolves.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's a
because
baller.
of the way that the max contracts are, they just didn't want to pay him $100 million more
Sure.
than any other team would have paid him.
Which is stupid.
Which, yeah,
Because it's a business, and
Yeah.
they forgot that.
yeah,
They tried to like confuse themselves and overthink it and saying, "Oh, it's a business. These are business decisions." And it's like, bro, you have one of the top 3 fan favorites in the whole league.
Yeah, you
That
make money
is
on
going to-
jersey sales.
That
Of-
is your predominant income.
Yep. Of
You're
people in the
not selling
stands.
fucking other jerseys. Kyrie, even, his jerseys aren't flying off the rack.
No,
That's
not
just what
anymore.
happened.
However, from a strictly basketball coaching standpoint, that trade actually makes sense. What they got for it makes no sense. But you had 3 players, your 3 best players played 2 positions.
Okay.
You have Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, and Luka. They
Correct.
all played the same position, primarily the same position.
Sure.
So you get rid of one of them and bring in a big man. Now
Sure.
you have a traditional point guard. You have a traditional shooting guard who could play small forward, but usually doesn't in Clay.
Yeah.
And you have a traditional big man.
Yeah.
So from a basketball coaching standpoint, you now have a team
For this year.
for this year.
That's the kicker.
Bingo.
That's the kicker.
You can't build your team around Klay Thompson.
If it would be
He's a
one thing if
fossil.
he was fucking in low 20s, 25 or younger, and he was a big man and he was trending.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yes.
So there was a third team involved, but essentially what the Dallas Mavericks got for Luka was, let's just say, Anthony Davis and a first round pick in 2031.
Christie, Max, don't leave out Max Christie because that dude can ball.
Okay,
Sure.
now
You can.
if I would have told you that trade was for Max Christie, AD, and 3 first round picks, would you have still said that it was a ridiculous trade?
No,
No,
Okay.
no.
that's
Because AD himself on the market is worth 4 to 5.
Yeah. So my point is that
100%.
it all comes down to why didn't they ask for more?
I don't
They
know.
did.
And they came at
They said that
They
there was
came at
2
the
other
Wolves.
teams, and they came to the Wolves
Yep.
asking for Ant for a straight up flop switch.
Oh my god.
And then they went to who did they other ask for a straight up switch? It was Giannis.
Yeah,
they went to
they went to
Milwaukee,
Milwaukee,
and
too.
they said we'll do a straight up swap, Luka for Giannis.
So we have fans of both teams here.
same
Okay.
thing.
Do you
So-
do that straight up?
Here's the thing, and I'll shock some people. If they would have done straight up Ant for Luka,
Yep.
I would have never watched the NBA again, and I
Right.
would have never supported the Timberwolves.
Correct.
Even though I do because they're the local
Yeah.
team. I would have probably been able to understand the Giannis trade
Sure.
just because
You got
I
to
have
burn
a-
it all to the ground.
What's that?
You want to burn it all to the ground because it's not.
Well,
it's
and
done.
because
You got your one.
It's
we-
done.
we
They
got-
already
we got the
parted
one we
out.
wanted,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
don't think Giannis is going to stick around. I think that
He's
right
not.
now,
No.
he's at the point where this is the most you're ever going to get for him.
But
Yeah.
the trouble is, Luka, if that did go through, I don't think Luka stays in Milwaukee.
Debatable.
Probably not.
Maybe.
You know, so to give up Giannis,
You never know.
it's
Him
a-
and Dame would be sick. Be cool.
Yeah.
Dame is enough, and
But Luka runs point.
yeah.
So again, you run into a
But
problem
so
where you got-
LeBron touches the ball a lot too,
True.
and he wants to be the distributor. He doesn't want to be the go-to,
Well, because he can distribute.
and he's 40 plus years old.
Yeah.
That's it.
Balling out of
Well,
control.
yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Sports is shuffling up.
Yeah.
I love it. I like Luka, but I wouldn't have done
Yeah.
it.
Nope.
So we had that one.
Yep.
Then we had the rescinded one, which I thought was pretty funny.
Well, you can't pass physical. I mean, he can't pass physical. That's just what happens.
Mark Williams for Dalton. Can you just imagine Dalton Connect, first round pick, white boy to the Lakers, loving life, playing with LeBron. They're like, nah, we're going to ship you off. And then he has to come back.
Yeah, and then he shoots
Hey,
in
sorry,
the corner.
Sorry about that.
He would love it. I would love it if I'm him.
Oh, yeah.
That's the last thing you want.
100%. Brandon Ingram goes to Toronto,
It's fine.
signs,
He's from Canada, right?
I believe so.
I think so.
I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah. Jimmy Butler goes to
The Warriors.
the Warriors. The only other one I really cared about outside of Luka was De'Aaron Fox.
Sure.
Going to, I love Wemby, and to pair him with a guy who wants to sign an extension there. I love what they're doing. That's what makes me nervous about the Timberwolves, right? Because we traded all of our assets away.
Mhm.
We have no building blocks.
Yeah, I don't know now. Now you've got a bunch of youth infusion. You're seeing Robbie Dillingham
Yeah. And
fucking crushing, and
Yep.
a bunch of those guys that were
Terrence
crushing.
Shannon.
Those guys' stocks are all going through the roof right now.
Yep.
Because they
you look at-
dominated.
but you look at teams like the Thunder and the Spurs who have a ton of youth still.
Yeah, but they were dog shit for a long time.
well, yeah,
That's what you get.
They burn it to the ground, but they still have
They have their
9-10 firsts like over the next 3
Yeah,
years.
the Wolves don't have a first for how many years?
Yeah.
You know,
Fuck
and
with
it's
that.
that's what's funny about the NBA. It's like, all right, well, hey, I'll give you one from 2068. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
They go so far down, so you can literally sell so far away, but then we have nothing.
I think it's there. I did read this. It's like you can't go more than like 9 years in advance. You can't do consecutive years in the same
yep,
trade.
back to back.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why when
It's very confusing. I don't.
when the Wolves traded for Rudy,
Yep.
they traded all these first round picks, but it was every other year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So-
now more and more people are realizing if you don't have a top 10 pick in the NBA draft, it doesn't fucking matter.
No, this isn't the NFL draft.
Yeah,
you
that's just it.
gotta, we could sit here and name a list of players that win at the end of the first, maybe into the second,
Yeah.
that are superstars,
Yep.
but it's so hard.
Well, and that's the thing that, when you start analyzing drafts, and obviously everyone's doing it now in the NFL, you always look at that one off, that one weird, example of this guy was in the 6th round or this. It's like,
Yep.
did you realize that there's never been a 5th round quarterback that has ever played in the Super Bowl? There's only been 1 6th and 1 7th. Tom Brady and Brock Purdy. So and then obviously Kurt Warner, who was undrafted. But my point, and then there's been other off goofy situations,
Yep.
but you get your quarterback in the 1st round, or maybe you'll get lucky in the first 3 rounds.
Yep.
If you have a structured environment from the build in.
Yep.
So it's like all the BS about those late, those late picks are for that, that guard from NDSU who slipped through the cracks, who turns out to be the next Joe Thomas.
Yep.
Not a quarterback. You
Yep.
got to get your quarterback early.
Yep.
Oh, that's a great fact, Greg. Where do you come up with this shit?
I listen to a lot of sports talk radio.
Yeah.
So do
during the-
I,
yeah.
but it's like, man, I did too many drugs.
Of
I
my
think, for
8
it to
hour-
just-
Your mind's elsewhere. It's all right. It's expected.
Where's it elsewhere when I'm listening to sports talk radio? I'm listening.
Oh, fucking
Of-
A.
It
Of
just
my
doesn't
entire
stick.
of my entire working day that I'm in, if I work for 8 hours, I'm probably in my car for 5 of them.
Yeah,
If I'm not talking to one of you two guys, I'm
Yeah.
listening to sports talk radio.
it's good for you.
So
I like it.
No.
Agreed.
I like it a lot. So now
I like it a lot.
you're too early Super Bowl winner before the NFL draft for next year.
okay, I'll go the opposite
Well, we'll start first. Offensive MVP.
for next year.
Yep.
I'm gonna offensive.
And it won't obviously, offensive.
I think it's gonna be someone like Justin Herbert.
I think I was gonna same, but I'm going Joey B.
Okay.
Joe Burrow. I think the Bengals surge, and he comes back. I'm gonna say it now. 50 touchdowns.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see because T. Higgins posted on his Instagram yesterday that basically, he's on the move.
Oh yeah, as he should
Did
be.
you
Yeah.
hear Joe Burrow's response? He pretty much broke down what you do when you have, because someone said to him, "Would you give money back?" This was on like Instagram or Twitter or
Yeah.
something, and his response was, "There's ways to do this. You can front end some of this," and he laid out
Of course.
how you can restructure a big contract
The cap's
to
a
pay
myth.
for
Yeah.
other guys.
Yeah.
Then you move it to the back end, and then when you get to the back end, you turn it into a salary signing bonus.
Yeah.
Yep.
He pretty much laid it out for them.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, someone helped him with that because
They just have too many holes elsewhere.
yeah,
That's just what it is. They need a better offensive line.
And I want to see T being a dynasty owner of him.
Yep.
I'd like to see him, and I
Move
hope.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to see him go be the number one somewhere.
Yep.
Because he's a stud. But yeah, I'll go.
Joey Burrow.
They'll have to get him another weapon in the draft.
Sure.
But I think he's a couple years removed from being that top 5 tier.
I'm gonna
think he's coming back.
I'm going to take a big shot in the dark. I think the MVP next season is going to be Jaden Daniels.
Okay, first of all, you asked us who the offensive player of the year was, not the MVP. There's a different thing.
Okay. Well,
Because
I meant MVP.
Okay.
So MVP of the league. You're still Burrow.
Yeah.
I'll still go Herbert.
Yeah. So that's just why I'm saying Jaden. I think that'll be interesting. They're in the right conference
I'm
for
interested
that.
to see if he continues to elevate or takes a CJ Stroud approach.
Well, it's going to be about that team stacking the deck.
Yeah.
They're going to have to put a lot more
They got a
weapons
ton of
around.
money.
them.
Yeah.
Yep, a
a
ton.
lot of money.
That's what I'm saying. And they got to bolster up that defense because they can't get in shootouts. They just proved that.
Yeah.
If they can keep it close, though,
Get that D
it's
line.
very exciting.
Spend money on
I like that as a
D-line.
shot in the dark. And then Super Bowl champs next year. Too early.
I'm gonna go twofold. First of all, my prediction on the Super Bowl winner, San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, LA
LA
Chargers.
Chargers.
I'm sorry, LA
That's
Chargers.
all right.
Did I say San Diego?
I like San
Yeah.
Diego.
LA
San
Chargers.
Diego.
I miss him. San
Yeah.
Diego.
Yeah.
But here's my bold pick: the Chiefs will miss the playoffs.
Interesting.
I am going to go with the same bracket that I filled out for my Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Bills Lions.
I mean, it's viable. Why wouldn't it
Yeah.
be? I think the Lions are going to be a
It's not
different team
I mean,
next
you
year.
didn't say out there. You
Unfortunately,
just said, who do you
I don't know if the. I think the Lions are going to be hit with. This is what happens when your whole front office gets shook up.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of catching up, and I think that can take a year.
I think they got a good leader, and I think
No doubt the leadership.
I think
but
they'll
I'm
get
just
Myles
saying.
Garrett, and I think they got hit with the the injuries hit them this year. I think they'll.
I don't think they're going to get Myles Garrett. I don't know why. I just think that what Cleveland's going to ask for is going to, I mean, they're going to ask for 3 firsts.
Yeah.
And I think that a team that's going to do that needs to make a move. I see a team like the Raiders doing that.
But you need those first.
Yeah.
A team like the Lions, where I'm picking 25, big whoop.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Those late first rounds are basically second round picks. You can just.
Yeah.
That's what people. Yeah.
When you're the Raiders, you're building, and
Yeah.
you're top. Those are top 10 picks.
So, okay, I'll continue on with Mike's stuff. Of all the guys who are either free agents or will include Debo, T. Higgins, Myles Garrett, all these guys that are under contract but are demanding something happen.
Yep.
Let's just call it that. Where do you think is going to be the most shocking player, and where do you think he's going to go?
Well, I think New England's going to get one of them, whether it's Debo or T.
Sure.
I think it makes more sense for them to sign T than trade for Debo. But I don't think you can do it through the draft. I think Vrabel's smart enough to get you still
wait it out.
Well, to get a proven player.
Okay,
Yeah, free agent.
Yeah.
Free agent rather than, hey, let's just another crapshoot, whatever. I think they'll go defense with, what do they have, a top 5 pick? But I think the Patriots will get one for sure. I don't know.
Unless they can get Travis Hunter to fall.
But Travis Hunter's going as a corner.
Well, what they've already said is that he's going to the combine as a corner.
Yes.
Because a wide receiver is not expected to go early in the first round, let alone, they're saying that a lot of wideouts are going to fall to day 2 because that's just the way it is. A lot of teams need defensive help, especially at cornerback. So you go to the combine as cornerback, and he's going to do his pro day as a wide receiver if needed, because he says that he's already proved that he can play wide receiver. And you
It's
should
smart.
know. It's interesting.
This draft
It's
alone,
interesting.
I was listening to Todd McShay, who's off anything, but he's got his own pod.
Yeah.
And I believe there was about 20 to 25 front end like D tackles.
Yeah.
Sure.
In the
That-
first 100 picks.
That's what I'm saying.
It was
Yes.
insane. Like,
Yep.
and that's what happened last year in the draft. It's all about the talent in the draft pool, right? How the draft shakes out.
Yep.
It was all tackles and offense and offense. That's why the Vikings hopped back in and got Dallas Turner,
Sure.
who didn't do much last year, but from projections for defensive players last year in the draft was one of the top players.
Yep. And you're seeing a lot of shit where teams that reach in a draft for a skill position doesn't tend to pan out. That's hard.
Are we seeing smoke show with the quarterbacks like we did the year Malik Willis?
I don't think
came
so. I
out?
think you're going to slowly but surely find out the truth. And unfortunately, a lot of the truth lies with the hype surrounding Colorado Buffaloes. And sure, they have all the glitz and the glamour. They got the fucking news. The crews are there. It's all fucking like a rap music video. It's,
Yeah, but
you
you're
know?
just a hater. Shadur's the truth.
I wasn't
can't-
a hater,
you-
though. That's
you
the
can't-
thing. I wasn't a hater. I was bought in when Prime first came there. Coach Prime, I got the t-shirt. Thanks. Shout out Greggy, and now I'm slowly seeing it all where you can't deny that these players in the biggest games that they've had, they didn't shine.
Okay,
That's it.
not everybody shines in. Okay, he led the nation
And I feel like at the
in
NFL,
completion percentage.
The only thing
74%.
yeah, but he's surrounded by the cream of the crop.
No, he's not.
That team was the cream of the crop.
No,
They
it
had
was
look
not.
at the roster and look at what they had for 5-star recruits and transfers. They had the cream
All
of the
five-star
crop.
recruits don't. No,
They had the cream of the crop. Yes, they did. That offensive line, you'll see.
here's
You're going to see all these skill
That offensive
positions.
line was terrible.
No, you're going to see that. You want me to pull it up right now?
Pull it up.
well, here's
He
the
was
thing.
second in the nation in touchdown passes.
The thing is,
And he didn't win games.
Shadur Sanders.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a team. That's
Sure.
a team.
Sure.
I think what you're going to see is, can he play in a pro style? Because he wasn't playing in a pro style. That was a very collegiate level offensive system, which is very successful in college. He was also playing a Big Ten schedule, so he has to score, fast because they don't play defense in the.
Correct.
You know what he can do? Anything they throw at him.
Yeah, you know what? I'm saying that he's very successful so far. I just think that when you have that style of quarterback hasn't always been successful in the NFL. Look at Malik Willis. Look at
Malik Willis was a runner.
But see,
Shadur's a pocket passer, precision.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to be bad, but see, you got to get away from the whole thing of
you like Cam Ward better.
What's that?
You'd take Cam Ward over him?
I wouldn't take either one of those quarterbacks in the top 10. I don't think either one of those quarterbacks are a top 10 quarterback. Now, that's a different conversation.
And I love Cam Ward. I sat on this show upstairs, talking about the Vikes getting him when he was still at Washington State before he even transferred to Miami, before he was even a big name.
Yep.
I wanted Cam Ward as a Viking the same way I wanted Jalen Hurts as a fucking Viking. So I love Ward. I'm still, until he proves me wrong, I ain't hopping off the train.
Sure.
All aboard Shador and the Sanders gang.
Yeah, I'm just saying, ease up on the expectations for this guy because he's going to be playing in a system. And he's,
we're running into the Ball family 2.0, and not you're running into it because the expectations are that these players are going to come. Shador especially is going to come in and be,
but he's proven it at every level. He wasn't just. He wasn't just that he was a 4-star recruit who chose to go play with his dad at Jackson State. It's Dion wasn't the only.
Yes, but
a lot of teams wanted him.
You? Yes, but a lot of teams want you to come in and earn your spot. That's the hard part. Is that why wouldn't you go somewhere where they're gonna instantly you are QB1 camped into the team where you go?
You don't think he proved and earned his spot?
But that's what I'm saying is you're looking at this is a new college football league of transfer portal. And that's what I'm saying is that a lot of these players, if they don't get time to play, they're going to hit the portal and they're going to go somewhere where they can get reps, obviously, because they want to be seen and they want to show that they can go to the NFL. Shador has always been under his dad's wing. And I'm just worried that he's not going to have the same coachability as not coming from out of his dad's mouth.
We're going to find out.
We are going to find out.
I think he's a lot more coachable than Shiloh. Shiloh, he was the most athletic.
He burnt himself at the Senior Bowl. He went to the Senior Bowl and he looked like shit.
He's not invited. Dion back in the day wanted to work with him and gave him tips, and he's like, no, I don't want it. And Dion from that point on said, fine, you're on your own then.
He's always said Shador is his favorite son. He openly says, happy birthday, my favorite son, Shador. That's his thing, And I don't know. I think that it's going to be hard to hope that Shador turns into he better be a better quarterback than Lamar.
He's not Lamar.
No, because he can throw the ball. And that's
Lamar is one of the best passers in the NFL.
Negative.
No.
Pull
up his stats right now, Greg.
I'm sorry, you're wrong. Lamar's whole knock has always been that he can't throw the ball.
Has always been.
Yep.
Not now.
What do you mean?
Now he can throw the ball.
He has Derrick Henry.
It doesn't matter.
What do you mean? That's why we're smart in that. And that's why I didn't get to answer who I was going to say is going to be the Super Bowl champion next year is going to be the Baltimore Ravens because they only have that small window with Derrick Henry to win it. And I think they can because they will be more balanced.
2024.
Yes.
4,172 yards,
Correct.
41 touchdowns.
Yep.
4 picks.
Yeah.
He can't throw.
What do you mean?
Derrick Henry?
How many times did he throw the ball?
41 touchdowns.
How many times did he throw?
It doesn't matter.
You're going around.
to get 4,000 yards.
I know, and I was one saying 2 weeks ago he should be the MVP.
2018.
What are you talking about?
1,200 yards.
Yes.
6 touchdowns.
So what I'm saying is that's who I want Shador to be if I'm taking him with the first pick of the draft. And he won't be.
He won't
be Lamar Jackson.
You want him to be C.J. Stroud.
No, I don't.
Pocket that.
CJ took a step back.
Just
People
because
are already
just
worried about
because they're
CJ.
black, not
No,
every black
that's-
guy's a rushing
Now
quarterback.
you're a Dem. You're throwing out the race
No,
card.
because Lamar's a rushing quarterback.
Yes,
Shador
exactly.
is not.
Exactly. Lamar is a rushing quarterback. You just answered your question for you. He's not known for the throw. And that's what I'm-
4,172 yards.
Yes,
41
off of how
touchdowns.
many
You just said he couldn't
completions?
pass.
He throws the ball 20 times a game. He's not known for his accuracy throwing the ball. Yes, he threw for yards. That's great when you can catch fucking Derrick Henry on a screen pass all the way to the end zone. That doesn't mean that you're Patrick Mahomes throwing the
I
ball.
didn't call him Patrick Mahomes. I
Why?
said he's not just a rushing quarterback.
You're
He
not.
threw for 40,040.
Yeah. 2
4,040.
weeks ago, I was saying that he should have been MVP. What do you mean, Michael? I'm
You said he
saying
can't pass.
I'm saying that
Greg?
if I take Shador at number 1, I need him to be better than a 2-time MVP.
Why did we?
That's what I'm
spend
saying.
So much time figuring out the volume on these. If you guys were just going to yell into
Oh,
the
it's great.
microphone.
That's going to be a great clip.
No,
But that's all I'm saying is Shador worries
You
me.
say that about every number one, though. And I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I said it
Well,
about
hey,
Caleb.
I'm
I said
yeah.
it about Caleb. You're
I'm not-
right. And
well,
what
he
did
might
we
not
learn
be-
about Caleb? Is that you have too many holes on a team to designate taking that quarterback
But
at
you
that position.
have to.
Do you?
Yes.
Why?
Because you're rebuilding.
When was Jalen Hurts drafted? Okay, but that's what I'm
Not saying
saying.
it
That's
can't
what I'm
happen.
saying.
To Greg's point, how many 5th and 6th and 7th? You need to take your
You need to
shots
hit in the
first round.
draft.
You do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. CJ Stroud didn't go number
And
one.
Eagles have proven that now.
But Jalen Hurts
Look at how many hits they
Jalen
have.
Hurts wasn't a bum either.
No,
We
but
sit
it was
here and
about
talk
the
that-
value and where the pick went.
See, here's the
Right.
thing. If you're a team like, let's just say the Raiders, even
Okay.
though I don't think that you're just, maybe he will drop the 6.
Who? He'll go number 1.
Well, no, Travis Henry's going number 1.
Mm-mm.
If so-
Travis Hunter will not go number 1. I'll bet you $100 right now.
Would-
I'll tell you that Shador is an unquestionable number 1 pick. It's already been decided. He's going to New York.
Is that what Vegas says?
No, oh yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just saying it's over. It's already, it's over.
My point is that if you're a team like the Raiders, you need a lot of help,
Yes.
and you need a quarterback. If
Yes.
you're going to do something like draft Shador Sanders, the next thing you have to do is you have to trade Max Crosby for 2 first-round picks and a player.
Yes.
To build around.
With one of those picks being, I've heard a lot about it. A lot of it's probably BS, but let's just say Max Crosby to the Packers.
Sure.
You trade him for this year's first and 2 years from now first, and name a player.
Yep.
And then that's how you rebuild your
Of course.
team. So you can't just
Can't rush the window.
You can't rush the window. But the
Yeah.
other thing you can't do is you can't draft a quarterback and then sit and stand pat with the rest of your picks and say, God, I hope the draft falls to us.
Sure.
You have to draft your quarterback if you're going to do it high.
Sure.
And then be aggressive with everything else.
Of
because
course.
Now you have a 5-year window.
I
So
get
you
that.
have to take advantage of that.
And I thought the Bears did do a good job. They
Yeah.
grabbed him as receiver.
Yes.
They
I get
got
that.
an offensive tackle. Now they'll get him another offensive tackle.
They went offense.
We'll see what Ben Johnson can do. We
Yep.
all like him as an offense coordinator.
Yep.
What can he do as a head coach?
Yep.
We're going to find out.
Yep.
But I like the fit.
Yeah.
I don't like the Bears, but I like what they're doing. Right?
But
They're in our division. We all,
This is the 4th year of everyone liking what the Bears are doing, and they can't do it because
Right.
they don't have
It's cursed franchise.
no direction.
they
You're
don't have any
seeing it.
direction in the general manager seat.
Correct.
He's an idiot.
Sure.
He is an absolute idiot. Any general manager that starts his press conference with "It's our goal to beat the Packers,"
Or that
Like-
they're going to run the North.
Yeah, it's like-
The North goes through them.
That's something that your cheerleader, aka head coach, should say.
Sure.
Not the general manager. The general manager should be, "We're going to do everything we can to blah 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 blah."
Yes.
To win a championship.
My curveball to all of this is that let's say I'm the Giants. I have the number 1 overall pick. If I don't take a quarterback, I should be the first pick next year.
Yeah.
Arch.
Isn't necessarily coming out next year.
I know, but
I hope he is.
The only problem with this, and you're seeing it like 2 years ago with the quarterback class, and there's more hype around this one. Don't get me wrong. And I could be completely wrong. I'm always wrong. It's okay. I was wrong about Mac Jones. I get it. But I'm saying is that you see a lot of teams that took quarterbacks that didn't work out.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yes,
every
it does.
year.
Every year. That's why I'm saying there are so many talented fucking players in the first round of this draft at other positions. I would rather do that.
I don't know what those two will do. Right.
Right.
Shador and Cam.
Oh, I get it.
Nobody does.
They're saying
I
Jackson
wa-
Dart. They're saying
I-
Jackson Dart could be the best QB out of this draft.
Jackson
and I
Dart
could
is
see it.
intriguing.
I
but
could
to
see
Greg's
it.
point earlier, he comes from a system
I know.
that isn't
I get it.
that doesn't translate.
Yes.
But I do. He is intriguing. He's got the
But
size.
That's just, the interesting part too, like the pro style offense that Colorado tended to run. Shador was never under the snap.
And if he does go number 1 overall, that's sad.
I mean-
The Titans are terrible.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
It's all about opportunity with these guys too, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
well, like who said it? One of the quarterbacks said it, one of the famous ones, it's not, quarterbacks don't fail as much as organizations fail the quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's just it is. It's like, I wish more teams, and you can't do this because you can't sell it to a fan base, but you guys are absolutely right. If the Giants get the number 1 pick, I would take, if I was the Giants, I would take Travis Henry.
If they can get into
Hunter.
it.
Travis Henry. Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
And I would then hope to blow it up next year. Get some, because they're probably not going to have their first round pick next year if they do that, because they have to move up 2 spots to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't take your quarterback if you don't have a system behind him that's successful.
If you don't want the window to open.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing that a lot of these teams are forgetting, is that just because you're not every team's going to be the Commanders, and you're not just going to be able to pick up this rookie QB and make a fucking windows open.
Yeah.
Let's go. And we're not even reloaded,
Yeah.
but we're just going to make a run.
Which happened the same year with the Texans and
Yeah.
CJ Stroud. And they
Yeah.
still made he stepped back. They still made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Didn't they win a playoff game? Yeah. They
Yeah.
beat your San Diego Chargers.
Right.
Yeah. Let's
That you sat in that seat right there.
Yeah.
That was your guaranteed pick.
It was everybody's lock.
Oh, yeah.
It's everybody's lock.
Yep.
let's not forget either, in that same draft that they took CJ Stroud, who else did they take? Will Anderson.
Yep.
With the next pick.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
they mortgaged a lot.
Yeah.
Why are the Texans so good right now? Because of one player, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
They were able to trade him for a bag of goods that they turned into quality players.
They also have a great culture with D'Amico.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a phenomenal coach.
And they
you
get
got to have people running through walls for you.
and they're underdog.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it worked.
But
Yep.
see, it's like you look at Belichick's mentality for 20 years. You look at what happened with D'Amico. You got to be willing to trade a player maybe a year too early than a year too late because you can get more for him. That's why I think of all the players that are, still under contract, they're going to move. That's why I think Max Crosby is going to be the biggest play because he still has 3, 4, maybe 5 years, 3, 4, let's just say, of prime years ahead of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if the Raiders are smart enough, and I know they are because
Tom, TB12 is there running the
well,
show.
the TB12 might be there, but you know what? Their general manager has the most amazing one-step move to the basket in basketball because I taught him that when he was a freshman.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
I was his basketball coach.
Yeah.
But which is probably why you got so successful. In
But
football.
another reason is that they have a new GM.
Yeah.
That's the big key. And anytime a team gets a new GM, what else comes with it? A new quarterback. That's just the way it is. You're not going to roll out Aiden O'Connell again,
No.
even though you don't really have a fan base anymore because anybody that comes to your game is coming there to make a weekend out of it to go to Vegas.
The Raiders
You
are
know?
most likely going to end up with A, Russell Wilson, or B, Sam Darnold.
Sure. And I would say the same for a Tennessee Titans team that's on the clock. And it's like, wait, we have a lot to do here.
Yeah, they should trade it.
Here's the thing that keeps
Yes,
confusing me.
100%. You move back.
Everyone
And that's
keeps,
where Giants move up
everyone keeps
with
talking about
neighbors.
Russell Wilson to the Raiders. I didn't know I thought that the relationship between what's his name?
Tom
No,
Davis.
the head coach, the old man.
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
I thought the relationship between Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson wasn't the greatest.
Yeah, but when you got a coach that knows that he can get the most out of that guy, why not grab him for a fucking chump change?
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
be chips.
For peanuts.
And it will be a good fit because a quarterback that has a coach that they fucking had success with, you're not going to feel like you're walking on as many eggshells.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to that's just when the football season gets the best, is when you can get through the draft and then you can see free agency and see what teams are fucking building.
And we're
around,
2 months away.
you know. Unfortunately, you put a guy on a shitty ass team with no weapons and you don't get a lot.
Yeah, but what happens? You guys know what happens when the combine starts. That's when all the trade rumors start talking.
Oh yeah,
Because the
Yeah.
league year
I love it.
starts.
Football never dies.
it does. Right now, it's dead for me, and that's okay. This year, more than most, it's just weird. It's a weird year because I didn't expect a lot out of this year.
Yeah.
In a form of the Vikings, and they overachieved and they did great, and they give me a lot of hope and excitement for next year. But then again, there's not as many shit teams in this league.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous.
Mhm.
And it's good for the league. It's
Mhm.
great. You have playoff matchups like this year that were great all the way up until the bowl.
Yeah.
It's just you see all these teams in these conferences, Buffalo and Baltimore and Kansas City, all these teams that their conferences are catching up. And it's like now you might be a wild card team and get bounced.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's going to be tough too because the Vikes, I took off work this past week for the draft.
oh good.
I'm saying it right now, 100% chance we don't pick in the first round.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
We're out.
Yep.
They'll try and get either
You need more capital.
you
need
grab
more
a couple
capital.
seconds and maybe a fourth. Give me 2 seconds and a fourth. You can have my
Yeah.
later first.
And you still get your
And then-
starting running back and a bunch of else
And the nice
Yeah.
thing
Yep.
is, picking 24th, you're in a perfect spot
to move.
to move because
Yeah, 'cause
people,
people wanna
don't
get
trade
up.
back in.
Yep.
Yeah,
course,
100%. And
It
you're not
works out
too
great.
far back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you trade with a bad team in the second that you're getting
Sure.
is like a top 10 second.
Yeah, let's just not trade with the Packers anymore. That'd be cool.
What is
Or
so
Detroit.
so the trade that you'd like to see the most is your team, the Packers, getting
The team I would like, the player I would like to see my team
Yes.
get
Yep.
is Max Crosby.
okay.
I would love to see that. Overall, I just want to see Myles Garrett go someplace else.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm such a big Joe Thomas fan.
Yeah.
That I don't want to see another quality high-end player have a Hall of Fame career
Right.
for Cleveland.
Mike, what's the one player that you would like to see the Vikes land in free agency?
Trey Smith, guard.
Trey Smith,
Chiefs.
Guard, Chiefed. I like that. I would also be interested in Mekhi Becton. That's another big free agent this year. He had a really good year.
Anytime you can move a guy
Strengthen
who's
the O-line.
outside,
Yeah,
who's 6'7",
Yeah.
and put him at guard.
sure.
I loved it.
Versatility.
Daniel Falalele.
Crushed it.
The Ravens put him at
Crushed
right
it.
guard. The dude's like 6'11".
Roll the boat.
Oh my God.
So yesterday, I was listening to the radio, and they have the top 10 free agents for the Vikings
Sure.
and what their expected salary cap hit would be for next year.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask you guys this. My favorite Viking
Yep.
right now, Cam Bynum.
G-
I just love watching him
Yeah.
The
because
dance moves.
he
Yeah.
plays football like
A kid.
you want to teach your 6th and 7th graders.
Yes.
Of course.
So, but they're saying 22 million.
Yeah.
Do you get him?
Probably cap casualty.
No,
That's just it.
he's not.
Yeah. Bradbury
On
will
Madden?
Bradbury will get cut. He already say we saves us like 10 million on the
Yeah.
cap.
On Madden, you have normal, star, superstar, X Factor.
Yeah.
He's a star.
Yeah.
He'll do great.
Yeah.
He's
a
great.
player. He's fun.
Yeah.
All the moves.
Yeah.
He ain't a superstar.
Yeah.
Definitely not an X Factor.
Yeah.
But he is a star.
Yeah.
But he's
And
gone.
And plus he plays
Not at 22 million.
Yeah.
plus he plays a
No.
very easily replaceable position.
Right.
Yes.
The easiest position on the field to replace
Yeah.
is safety.
Right.
Because any defensive player can play it.
Yep.
You
Don't let him run by you.
Yeah, don't let him run by you and know how to read his zone or know how to play in your zone.
Yeah.
Know when something's coming. You can't be a shutdown corner unless you're just that extreme. That's why the other thing is on the negative side,
Yeah.
I hope we get rid of Jair Alexander
Yeah. You
'Cause I
probably
still-
should.
because I think we can get something for him.
Well, he's
Well,
a
and you-
parasite.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Toxic.
takes. He only takes.
Yeah.
He doesn't give back to the team.
No, not
Yeah.
a team player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell of a player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the
Yeah.
Vikings draft in the first round, a crazy move that I'd like to see them to make is to contact Carolina and see what's going on with Jonathan Brooks.
Oh.
You signed Chuba, you gave him the bag. What's it going to cost you to come off him?
For a
Just
first-
just a little move like that. Those backs that got drafted last year higher than most, that were expected to produce, that are talented. What's the bargain tag on?
Here's what I heard when it applies, and it applies to both our teams.
Yeah.
I heard that Nick Chubb next year will more than likely be either a Packer or a Viking. They'll get rid of Cam Akers, and then they'll keep Aaron Jones on because he does not make a lot of money. They have a really good deal with
Oh,
him.
they signed him, but he's a free agent.
That's the
They
thing.
can trade. They can get Nick Chubb, and then you would traditionally split it.
That's the
They're-
thing that worries me, though.
Yeah.
Is giving a running back money is always
You
scary
don't-
because it's you can get comparable productivity out of somebody that's
If the
half
Vikings
price.
walk away without one of the top 5 running backs in this draft,
That's
I
scary.
will be devastated.
It's scary unless
Devastated.
you make a move
Well, that's why
and you get a
have-
guy.
But that's why you have to trade that first.
But I think
No,
Chubb's
because none of them. There might be one that goes in the first round.
No, what I'm saying is that's why you trade that because then
you move
take-
back.
You
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
a running back with one
Right.
of the seconds.
You
and
need
Yeah.
you need to
something
get
else.
that
Yeah.
second, that early, but it has to be early.
Chubb
You
is
need
going
to be
to
in
get-
the top 5 picks
Yes.
of the second round.
Chubb's going to get
because
more than
there's
he's
gonna
worth.
go.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Okay.
Just based on what we saw this year, not that he was 100% when he came back, but he had lost a step.
Yep.
And he's been plagued the last 3 years with injuries that are hard to fucking come back from.
Mhm.
I think he'll go somewhere and
And I don't know why the Packers. You got Josh Jacobs.
and you got lucky on that
Because
because
we also want to hold on to him for
Yeah.
a longer amount of time, so we don't want to put too much tread on those tires. They worked him
And
hard
people
because they
forget
had
about-
CJ Dillon this
and-
year.
yeah,
well,
AJ,
and he's gone, but people forget about the running back you drafted
right,
out of USC.
right.
He ain't. They drafted him in the 3rd round.
Not only that, but nowadays you can find an undrafted free agent running back, and
Yeah, go
They
get
do
Raheem
just
the
fine.
Dream. He just
Yeah.
got released.
there's just guys out there
I'm
that you
fine
can plug
keeping-
and
Did you hear
play.
what Scatterbrain?
Aaron Jones would be great,
Do you hear what Scatterbrain
Yeah.
said?
Keep
In-
him in
like
draft.
$7 million.
in-
Yep.
in a-
1 year.
Yeah.
Then you're done.
Scatterbrain. That's how you say it. Right?
Cam Scatterbro.
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 He said ideally he'd love to play for the Steelers. You know why? He'd be a 3-man backfield.
Najee's a free agent.
And I think Najee has a good.
Najee's going to be the running back that everyone's going to look at next.
I
year
would
and be
like. I'd
I'd
like to
take
see
him.
Najee come here.
Yeah, he'd
Yeah.
be a good.
I'll
he'd be a good
I'll
third down.
retract my running back. Yeah, we'll
That's
take
what
you
I'm
here on
saying.
he's going to be the Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley. You know,
You know how many games Najee Harris is missed?
not a lot.
None.
Yeah, he's always questionable, never misses.
None.
The crazy part is that's what I'm saying is that last year you had these running backs that waited out together, ended up one of them got paid and then the next one got paid. This year, how many running backs can you say can acquire a big that can bring you to the promised land like those two?
Well, there's
I don't
no.
know.
No,
None of them.
there isn't one of those
There
guys.
isn't,
And that's
yeah.
why free agency for running backs last year was so great for the NFL and for that position because it did change the market. And
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley saved the running backs.
Right.
Yeah, if
He
it-
did.
Right.
If it wasn't for the two of them, you wouldn't be talking about having a running back.
You'd
on
be
the first
talking
round
about
this year.
Delvin. Yeah, you'd be
Yep.
talking about Delvin Cook a hell of a lot more.
Well,
because
and
that's
James
what
Cook
happened.
wants his 15 mil and he might get it.
Yeah, but that's a different back, and that's why you have to do more than just run the
But
ball.
to answer your question on Jonathan Brooks.
Yep.
If Jonathan Brooks comes out in this draft, I don't think he's a top 5.
Sure, but I'm saying
But I would
price wise,
price wise,
That's
I'd
what I'm
give
saying.
you a 5th.
yeah,
You know, the guy fucking tore the same
Yep,
ACL that
that's what I'm saying.
I'll give you a 5th.
You got to buy the dip on some of these guys where it's their lowest that it's
I think
you know what
I
I mean?
think he's a hell of a player. I
Could he-
invested him,
Yeah,
you know, but
of course.
he's luckily in one of them I have Chuba. So
Right.
at least I got him paired. It's
Yeah.
not a complete wasted pick at Dynasty. Like, god damn.
God, what a there's a lot going on,
Yeah, there is.
and there's not much going on at the same time. Now we wait,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. I like it.
Me too.
Jam packed. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're subscribing, make sure you're sharing, make sure you're liking the clips that are coming out. We're really trying to push those.
Pushing the reels.
Help us grow and help us show.
Yeah, when you see the reels that come on, comment on them.
Yeah, blow them up.
We're hated on TikTok. We're getting a lot of feedback and talking on the tick.
All I know is we just went for an hour and a half free to you.
Oh, it started slow. And
I
just
should
revved
start
up.
writing this off at taxes. What do you think? Mikey, can we write any of this stuff off?
Oh God, please,
Abolish the IRS.
please help me.
Per Mike Reeves.
You gotta. So I got an idea. If we're gonna keep this set up like this, move this because I can't see that, and that would be completely out of the way.
We talking sports with a twist, no script. Legends coming through on the guest list. TC, Minnesota, land of the lakes. Green Bay, that's all I gotta say. Yelling skull with the woes, you